What if I told you there is a celebration where people throw massive parties in cemeteries, decorate graves with thousands of flowers, and believe the dead literally come back to visit? And no, this is not Halloween. This is something far more profound, far more colorful, and far more misunderstood. Welcome to the Day of the Dead, where death is not the end, but a reason to celebrate. The Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos in Spanish, is one of the most iconic celebrations in Mexico and parts of Latin America. But here is the thing. Most people outside Mexico have no idea what it truly means. They see the colorful skulls, the face paint, the decorations, and think it is just Mexican Halloween. They could not be more wrong. Today, we are diving deep into the real story behind this ancient tradition, its surprising origins, and why millions of people celebrate death instead of fearing it. Let us go back in time, way back, about 3,000 years ago. Long before Mexico was called Mexico, indigenous civilizations like the Aztecs, Mayans, and Toltecs dominated Mesoamerica. And these cultures had a completely different relationship with death than we do today. For the Aztecs, death was not an ending. It was a transition, a journey to another realm. They believed that when someone died, their soul would travel through different levels of the underworld, called Mictlan, ruled by the god Mictlantecutli and the goddess Mictacatzihuatl, the Lady of the Dead. This journey could take up to 4 years, and it was filled with challenges and obstacles. But here is the fascinating part. The Aztecs celebrated death. They had festivals that lasted an entire month, usually in August, honoring their deceased ancestors. They believed that during this time, the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead became thin, allowing spirits to return and visit their loved ones. When Spanish conquistadors arrived in the 16th century, they brought Catholicism with them. The Catholic Church tried to eliminate these pagan rituals, but the indigenous people were not having it. Instead of abandoning their traditions, they blended them with Catholic holy days. The result? The Aztec festival merged with All Saints' Day on November 1st and All Souls' Day on November 2nd. And that is how the Day of the Dead as we know it today was born. It is a perfect example of cultural syncretism, where two different belief systems fused into something entirely unique. So how exactly do people celebrate the Day of the Dead? Let me paint you a picture. On the night of October 31st and throughout November 1st and 2nd, Mexican families engage in one of the most beautiful traditions you will ever witness. They create elaborate altars called ofrendas in their homes or at grave sites, but these are not just decorations. Each element has deep symbolic meaning. The ofrenda typically includes photographs of deceased loved ones, their favorite foods, and drinks, marigold flowers called cempasúchil, candles, incense, sugar skulls, and papel picado, which are colorful perforated paper banners. The marigold flowers are particularly important. Their bright orange and yellow colors and strong scent are believed to guide the spirits back home. Families create paths of marigold petals from the street to the altar so the souls can find their way. The food offerings are specific to each person being remembered. If Grandma loved tamales and hot chocolate, that is what you put on the altar. If Uncle Carlos loved tequila and cigarettes, those go there too. The belief is that the spirits consume the essence of these offerings, so when they visit, they can enjoy the things they loved in life. Now, here is something that might surprise you. Many families spend the entire night at the cemetery. They clean the graves, decorate them with flowers and candles, and have picnics right there among the tombstones. They play music, tell stories about the deceased, laugh, cry, and celebrate together. It might sound eerie to outsiders, but for them it is a joyful family reunion that transcends the boundaries of life and death. Let us talk about those iconic symbols you see everywhere during Day of the Dead. First, the sugar skulls or calaveras de azúcar. These are not meant to be scary. They are colorful, decorated with icing, glitter, and foil, and often have names written on the forehead. They represent deceased loved ones and are placed on ofrendas as offerings. Some people eat them, while others keep them as decorations. Then there is La Catrina, the elegant skeleton lady wearing a fancy hat. She has become the face of Day of the Dead worldwide. But did you know she was created by a political cartoonist in 1913? José Guadalupe Posada drew her to mock Mexicans who were pretending to be European and denying their indigenous heritage. The famous Mexican artist Diego Rivera later popularized her in his murals, and she became an enduring symbol of the holiday. The painted faces you see people wearing are inspired by these skeletal images. The face painting tradition is actually relatively modern, popularized in the 20th century, but it has become an integral part of the celebration. Pan de Muerto, or bread of the dead, is a special sweet bread baked specifically for this occasion. It is often decorated with bone-shaped pieces of dough on top and flavored with orange blossom. Families share this bread at the ofrenda and at cemetery gatherings. Now, let us address the elephant in the room. Day of the Dead is not Mexican Halloween. Halloween has Celtic origins and is about warding off evil spirits, wearing scary costumes and getting candy. It is one day, October 31st, focused on fear, ghosts, and things that go bump in the night. Day of the Dead is a multi-day celebration on November 1st and 2nd about honoring, remembering, and welcoming back the spirits of loved ones who have passed. It is not about fear, it is about love, memory, and continuity. The skulls and skeletons are not meant to frighten anyone. They are colorful, joyful representations that remind us that death is a natural part of life. In Mexican culture, death is not taboo. It is acknowledged, even personified and joked about. There is a famous saying, "Death is democratic, it comes for everyone." This acceptance creates a different relationship with mortality, one that embraces rather than denies our inevitable end. Today, Day of the Dead celebrations happen throughout Mexico, with some of the most famous taking place in Oaxaca, Michoacán, and Mexico City. Each region has its own variations and traditions, but the core essence remains the same. In 2008, UNESCO recognized the indigenous festivity dedicated to the dead as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This recognition helped protect and preserve these traditions for future generations. The celebration has also spread beyond Mexico. Mexican communities in the United States, especially in California, Texas, and Arizona, have kept the tradition alive and introduced it to their neighbors. Hollywood films like Coco from Pixar brought Day of the Dead to a global audience, helping millions understand its true meaning and beauty. But with popularity comes responsibility. As Day of the Dead becomes more mainstream, there is growing concern about cultural appropriation and commercialization. Many Mexicans feel frustrated when they see the holiday reduced to a costume or a party theme without understanding or respecting its deep cultural and spiritual significance. The Day of the Dead teaches us something powerful, that we can honor those who came before us, that memory keeps people alive in a way, and that death does not have to be something we fear or hide from. It is a celebration of life as much as it is an acknowledgement of death. So the next time you see those vibrant sugar skulls or painted faces, you will know there is 3,000 years of history, spirituality, and love behind them. If you found this fascinating, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Leave a comment telling me, does your culture have any special traditions for remembering loved ones who have passed? I would love to hear about them. And check out my other videos exploring the hidden stories behind holidays and traditions around the world. Until next time, remember, every tradition has a story and every story deserves to be told.